So, yeah, I'm Burner, and, Medi Mike's Medi World is coming. Not not dirty. Like, it'll be on YouTube soon, and also on our website, all that good shit. So, yeah, keep on lighting up, keep on watching. Would it kill you to subscribe? Huh? Maybe retweet us a time or two? I got bills to pay. You think it's easy? Like, I just put on this red hoodie, I just sit in front of a camera, and the magic happens? No. It takes work. You don't see that part. Because you're stoned, which is cool. I got angry there, man. I'm sorry about that. Watch the show. Yay! I'm gonna go.
It's time for Nug Life Radio, a higher level of education for the cannabis counterculture community, featuring Medi Mike with the cannabis correspondent Benji. Like us on Facebook.com/NugLifeRadioShow, Twitter @TheRealNugLife, and Instagram NugLifeRadio. I'm your announcer, Recreational Riley. Here's Medi Mike.
And it's going to be great. It's always a ruckus right before we get started. We have got the wonderful Erica Rivera that's going to be in studio. We have got Paul doing some weird charades dance. Just yell it out, Paul, at this point.
Intro Benji again.
Intro Benji again. Oh, why?
Because they didn't hear you.
Oh, well, Benji Cooper. Oh, good old Paul there on at least, yeah. Yeah. Again, I am your host, Medicinal Mike, here with the Nug News correspondent, Benji Cooper. We have been rocking the only cannabis education show to ever be syndicated on FM in the world at that time, or at least the first one for about 8 years, Nug Life Radio. And now we are back coming to you from Edge Studios in beautiful San Francisco, California, out of the Oddfellows building, which is about 13 stories high, surrounded by fentanyl smokers. Weirdest thing I ever seen. Fantastic. Don't forget, Kush Stock is coming up April 15th out there in Adelanto, California. You will see at Kush Stock Donuts for Dollars, which is a drift car racing show. You could see me hosting and announcing as cars spin around in circles. And then somehow, when I'm not doing that, I'm going to run all over to the main stage and you will see Wrestle Sash, the only cannabis-themed wrestling show worth a shit in the entire world.
That reminds me of that, what was it called? That Demolition Derby with the dabbing.
Dabolition Derby.
Dabolition Derby, yeah.
That Dabolition Derby was a lot, not more fun, different fun, because the drift cars are just going in circles, and peeling out and shooting rubber everywhere, and it's a lot of fun. But
it was very entertaining to watch them go around the track and try to avoid all those obstacles.
Throwing jet skis into the path and, all kinds of things to crash into. And then each car was cannabis themed, so they had their own sponsor. There was like the Slacktivist car, and we tell you how it ran on purple Slacktivist alone. And
right.
One of them, I hear they might do it again, though. I've heard rumored out. Don't forget also, April 20th is the San Diego Cannabis Farmers Cup, which put me in one day of Facebook jail for sharing that flyer. Didn't even have cannabis on it. They're going to be out there competing for the best cannabis legally in Southern California. And then April 22nd, we're going to have a good old-fashioned Wrestle Sesh show where tickets are available at the Edible Sesh. So check them out on Instagram. There's a link for Eventbrite, another very legal event, because that's the only way we do it now, because jail sucks. Even Facebook jail sucks. So we'll get right to it then. Our first guest today is one of my favorite people. She went from Disney to dank, courtesy to Paul Brumbauer for that line. I want to welcome to the show one of the top cannabis influencers in the community right now, and the very beautiful Erica Rivera. Erica, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Where are you located now? You moved out of California, right?
I did, sadly. I'm currently back home in Philly, just outside the city, and I'm in a little town called Norristown.
And that's Philadelphia, right? Like that's what is
Yes.
that next to? You hear about it, the cheesesteak and everything is awesome, but is that like by New York or is that in East Coast?
Yeah, so the tri-state area, so it's like we're neighbors with New Jersey and New York.
Oh,
All
okay.
of us that have that kind of rough accent.
No, it's a beautiful accent. It's what gives you your style. Earlier, so in life, you were a Disney star.
Correct.
And what is that lifestyle like?
So much different than the one I have now.
Is it like
I would
pageant
love-
mom? Like,
Yeah,
everything
well,
is under...
yes, somewhat. I had definitely a childhood in the spotlight. I did a lot of acting and music at a really young age, so I definitely had kind of that Showtime experience, but I also had a really humble upbringing. My parents are both, from North Philly, and my grandparents are immigrants, so like I had a super humble upbringing regardless, but I got to experience some really cool stuff, and I absolutely love acting and being on camera and the star of the show, so it's always been like a natural environment for me.
In researching you, I got to hear some of the music that you have out. You have like a real Disney princess like voice. Like you're like straight pro.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that I also did a character on the Proud Family before where I got to sing on the show and showcase my vocals, and I used to be signed to Atlantic Records, so I'm actually I originally was a singer, and I also did acting growing up, and so as I got older, I just kind of crossed everything together.
And what's it like being a cartoonist? That's got to be the coolest thing to, see that
So
and see it
cool.
moving. And
The cool thing about that character is she was actually meant to be like kind of the nerdy, unattractive kid at the school, but she was the most talented and she won the talent show. So it was really cool. They had such a cool character design, and she had big glasses and freckles, but the voice behind it was me. So it was really fun.
did you ever think about going back to Disney in any way at this? You've been out, how long have you been free from the custody of Disney?
So I just did a couple of episodes of That's So Raven, and then I was on the Proud Family. I did a bunch of other toy commercials and stuff growing up, but I always kind of was just a free agent, and I, again, used to be on Atlantic. I haven't really done acting with Disney since being a teenager. Like you said during my introduction, things have kind of veered into a different direction as I got older.
Yeah, you turned awesome. You're like covered in beautiful tattoos now, and
Thank you.
you're putting out
That's
your own art and tattooing. You're
Yeah.
tattooing other people?
That's actually what I'm back here doing. My family has a business here in the smaller town outside of Philly, and it's called West Cali Tattoos, which is why I think a lot of people still think I'm back in LA. But yeah, I am slowly taking hands-on more and more of the family business, and it's something that I kind of stepped away from to get into cannabis over the last few years, and I kind of ended up circling back to just last August when I moved back here. So yep, I'm tattooing full-time again, and it's been really fun to kind of just be around family again, and also still in an environment where there's a lot of turn and burn. I still get to meet a lot of different people, kind of like the dispensary lifestyle.
And what got you into the cannabis scene? Was it Disney?
In a way, because, I had such a not necessarily sheltered, but protected upbringing. My manager and parents always wanted to protect me from the wild side of the entertainment industry. So I didn't experience really like smoking weed or drinking or anything like that until a much older age than a lot of other teenagers did. So I quickly really found out that I just gravitated toward cannabis from the beginning. I never really was a heavy drinker or was introduced to any other like psychedelics or anything until a way later age. I always gravitated towards and felt safe with cannabis. So I personally, once I was, kind of rebelling and things like that, I ended up consuming, and cannabis just kind of stuck with me after all these years, and I became super passionate about that. And so I always knew that I wanted to get into the industry. I just never really knew how. So, of course, California was like at the top of the radar.
And you've recently won from the Cannabis Award show, like most influential influencer, or
So I actually got the opportunity to win two. I took home the tattoo artist and the cannabis model international, cannabis model of the year international, because I think there was like a more local and then like an international or something like that. And it was just like such an honor and a blessing, because that was like a voting system, you know? So you had to actually have people behind you and supporting you. So that meant a whole lot to me, particularly because it was the cannabis industry, which I value so much. And being in California on my own for the most part for a few years, you know, that you guys really, really had my back and always supported me and gave me a safe space. So for everything to come full circle like that, man, that was very powerful.
Oh, that's super. I think I was there the night that you won that award because you were
That
dressed
was a
in like
good night.
this awesome like a jaguar or some
Oh,
kind
yes.
of big cat.
I could never wear that dress again. It made such an impact. I've got to literally frame it and just put it in my future home.
Yeah, well, you'll be typecast, and they'll be like, "Why aren't you wearing the dress?"
I think that award show is coming up next month. I was gonna try to sneak over for it, but I don't know if I'm gonna make it.
Yeah, you're super far now, but
Yeah.
at least we got to see you while you were around, and I'm sure you'll end up back here at some point in life.
And for sure. Again, like I said, I'm thinking of going in the next month or two. I will say it's comforting to be home, but it's cold.
Oh yeah, yeah, but the food is so much better on the East Coast.
Yeah,
Like
I'm
I was just talking
definitely.
yesterday about New York pizza or anything East Coast doesn't hold a candle to out here. It's like eating plastic and cardboard.
Well, you know, the industry is very different too. And luckily, Pennsylvania's on board with medicinal right now, but still not recreational. So even for me, I kind of got to go about things totally different here to consume, which has been a huge adjustment,
Restless
let's
leg
just say.
syndrome,
Yeah,
hyper anxieties.
there's no more ordering an aid to your apartment using your credit card like it's a Starbucks. It's not quite like that.
Are you getting into that Delta 8? I know that's real popular up there. It's like
You
diet
know,
pot.
it is definitely something that I have consumed before. I totally support. I think that honestly, the best Delta 8 that I've had so far was from Lonnie, the street lawyer. They've got a shop out in D.C., and their Delta 8 is incredible. Me personally, I usually, like I said, I'm not even really going into shops out here as I was able to in LA. So it's not quite the same in that capacity, but Delta 8 for everyone else is a lot easier to find out here. So it is more common.
Mm. And what has been your favorite weed experience in the entire time in California?
Ooh.
Do you ever like that
My
20-gram dab challenge or?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's a good one. I honestly will have to say that although going to all of the major events is so much fun, although like the award shows and the big major like shows are just so much fun to attend, I'd probably say the craziest things that I have ever experienced has been in like trap dispensaries where everybody's going nuts because they've been there for 14 hours in the day and there's really no supervision. So yeah, you're getting people like, hey, I'll throw this in, I'll throw that in, and then next thing you know, you're smoking like a 7-gram backwood. So I would say when people get bored, that's probably when I've had my wildest experience. I probably can't even remember it. It might have been so good.
Are you a
But
backwoods smoker?
so I'm gonna give myself away fully right here because my real friends already they know how I smoke. They would call me right out. I am a backwood or graba leaf smoker, but I also wrap my blunt in paper after rolling it.
like a ceiling system.
Yeah,
Because it looks
exactly.
like
That's how.
crap, like backwoods, like you know. And I'll probably never get the sponsors, or I won't anymore. But it looks like there's a piece of crap in your hand. They're not even symmetrical, so when people roll them, it's just like clumps.
And
Uh,
that's how it started for me, like doctoring up the blunt because I couldn't get it to ever close up. So I would use that as a solution in the beginning, but then I guess I found this like perfect ratio of like cannabis, tobacco, and that paper that just kind of burns just right for me that I
that's
really
that's
enjoy.
like gangster smoking, where like other people offer you weed, and you're like, no, I have my own way. You know.
And you know exactly, it's like I barely even share that with others because they don't. A lot of people don't smoke that way, and oftentimes I'm home smoking alone. I don't often have
Aww.
other people. I know. Well, wait, me. Yeah, I'm often smoking alone, so I just roll up real quick and do what pleases me.
And so, what is this? I know you have a competition coming up as well.
Yes, yes. Right now, I am in the running to be on the cover of Inked magazine because, like you said, I am pretty well covered in tattoos. It's like a family thing.
Yeah, the flyer
And
picture I put up of you is like no tattoo. I didn't even know it was you. I'm like, I don't. This might not be right, but I was kind of in a
that is
hurry.
so funny. Yeah, so I'm actually doing really well in the contest right now. I'm so blessed to have so much support. It's another similar type of voting system. So basically, they're kind of doing a process of elimination, and the next elimination, only the girl in the number one spot will proceed to compete with the other number one girl. So it's getting close.
A fight
The
to the death.
competition is getting tight, yeah. And you don't just win the cover, you win 25K. So that's kind of a big deal. It could be a really huge game-changing opportunity for me. So keep your fingers crossed. The link to vote for me is the link right in my bio. I took everything else away for now because this is the focus right now. And yeah, it's going really good. And I also want to thank everybody who has already voted for getting me this far.
And you're an artist for paintings. I remember where you're actually doing like really nice trip art, or I don't know what you call it. But there's a lot of colors.
So, that's actually one of the ways that I kind of weaseled myself into the cannabis industry. I have always been a painter, and my art was kind of becoming more and more important to me. And I wanted to expand my art opportunities in my art career while also learning about the cannabis industry. So I packed up my car, I moved to Los Angeles, and before I even got here, I sent a direct message to Terp Market. Shout out to them. And I asked if they had opportunities for non-flower vendors and just let them know I paint and I love to do live painting and I could set up a booth and just paint during the event. And they said, sure, come on out, and invited me with open arms. So I literally, I pulled up to California from Philly cross country on like a Tuesday, and I did my first, I think I did Friday market that Friday. And I just asked if I could keep coming back. And I kept meeting more and more vendors and different brands and other people who were in the industry, but in ways that were indirect as well. And everything just kind of catapulted. I started doing shout out videos, and that's how the modeling thing came about. So I continued to just say, hey, I'll live paint. And I started setting up my art at different cannabis sessions, and the rest was history.
And where can people find you to find that link? And do they let you vote more than once? Can we have Paul over here just vote until we all leave the studio and just keep voting and voting and voting?
There are
He says he's still voting. He's voting away.
Vote as every personality that you have.
Right, all his different emails.
Yeah, there's a few different options. Basically, you can vote for free once a day, every 24 hours, as long as you have either a Facebook login or a way to verify that you're a human. I think you can verify a credit card, but they don't charge you. I just tell everybody, if you have a Facebook login, you can vote for free once a day, every day. You can also purchase votes using the alternate option. It's through Music Cares, which is a really cool organization that Dave Navarro works with. and you can purchase votes through there. So I think it's like $1 a vote. And then there's certain days, which actually today is one of those days, where each vote is a 2-for-1 bonus. So let's say you spend $10, you would buy 20. It would give you 20 votes. So that's an option as well. I don't expect anybody to purchase.
I'm going to sell
votes,
your
but
soul for you right
grateful
now.
nonetheless.
I'm going to sell your soul. Whichever one of our listeners spends the most money in one day on voting, Erica will leave your voicemail message for you.
I will. Oh, I certainly will.
Do their outgoing greeting message.
That would be actually so fun. I would really love that. Yes, the Future Inc. magazine cover girl will leave you your very own voicemail.
See? Yeah, and if you do it, like, if you spend more than 100 in votes, sing it like the Disney princess, like you were when you get creative.
Yeah, we will.
Paint pictures. I'd be doing all kinds of stuff. I wish I had any kind of talent or anything like that. I would just be pushing it out there. Pushing it out there.
Right?
It is Erica_Rivera, just like it sounds, Rivera.
Correct. Erica with a C, ERICA_Rivera, RIVERA.
I'm so glad you said that because I had Erica with an A, and it's also 420. Everybody out there. Technically, it's 421, but Benji's been holding up that sign at least for a solid minute.
Yeah,
420 on my screen.
Do you want to know how high I was earlier? I was waiting for your call at 4 o'clock my time, and I just thought you were standing me up. I'm like, wow, maybe he's starting a little late on stoner time, and then I realized that I was the high ass.
And you're on the other side of the world. You know, I thought that same thing too, because I was like, when you were like, oh, it's that time, and I'm like, well, I hope she made her other appointment. I know she had some other stuff she had to do, and
I'm actually in my car outside of that photo shoot right now, and I'm making everything work because that's what we do.
Yeah, you're doing it big. I appreciate you so much for spending your time with us. Every time, if you're in California, please come into the studio. You know, we'd love to have you in again anytime we can, and we'll do something cool.
Thank you guys again so much for having me. Congratulations. This is so awesome. I'm super proud of you. I definitely miss running into you. So I will see you as soon as I get that way. And you know we're putting something in the air ASAP.
And don't forget to vote for Erica Rivera for the cover girl of Inked magazine. And that's right on her bio. You can go to the Instagram at Erica_Rivera, and that's Erica with a C. Paul.
And I want to make sure you get the last name right, Erica. It's Brumbaugh. So when you leave that outgoing message, you can say you. I've already got like 200 votes in, darling. I've already bought your voice.
The future wife of Paul Brumbaugh. So if this is one of his exes, he's doing way better in life now. Never call again. Beep.
I'm gonna have to make a Brumbaugh VIP package.
Oh man, I'm digging it already, dear.
Here come the foot pics.
I'm telling you, man.
Hey, but that's the next interview, okay?
Right. Erica, thank you again. I hope you have a great day. I hope you kick butt at your photo shoot. And we want to see you again. So whenever you're anywhere near us, let us know. The whole studio, as far as maybe Minnesota, anything.
No problem. Thank you so much again. Love you guys and have a good day.
We love you too. You take care.
Bye-bye.
That was Erica Rivera on the Nug Life Radio Show from That's So Raven, the Proud Family, everything awesome. Make sure you go to her Instagram and vote for her. And that's Erica with a C_RIVERA, Erica Rivera. She's absolutely gorgeous, too. I don't know if you've seen her in real life. Coop, you there?
I'm here.
Playing with your volumes over here. Have you met Erica at one of the shows, or we'd like to talk?
I have not. Or? Not that I can remember, anyways. I'm pretty sure I would remember someone like her.
Oh, smoking. Smoking. Yeah, just smoking. Like just tattooed and just smoking. Anyway. Get all flustered.
An impressive resume and set of skills as well.
Oh, dude, she's done everything that you can do in the world of cannabis, and it's fantastic. Are we ready for our puppet clip? And then we'll come back with something cool. We got some more puppets. Me and Benji doing puppets for years, and now we actually have a place to show people, teaching people about education and cannabis with puppets. Next coming up is going to be Scott Migdal with some puppets. I think we named them all Fifi, but we'll tell you why on the next episode. Joy Puppets.
Yes, you should double hit it. All that weed is here for you. Life is wonderful. When are you gonna see a joint like this again?
Well, that's a little inconsiderate to your friends. You should take one hit and pass it on.
You're no fun. You should smoke again. What does he think you are? Some kind of peasant?
He's very nice to share it with you. He might not have had that much. You should just be grateful.
You should tell that story. These people would love that story way more than they would love the marijuana.
Well, you should maybe take your hit first and then tell your great story. Otherwise, nobody else will get to smoke.
Okay, I have agreed that you are not going to double hit it. But if you take one really big hit, it's the best.
Well, maybe if you take little hits like everybody else, it can get passed around the whole circle, and then you'll get 5 hits.
You know, you are looking a little bit dry there. Maybe lick your lips really good before you take that hit.
Well, that's gonna make that joint have COVID. You don't want to give everybody COVID. You don't know what can spread through that spit.
The marijuana will kill it. It cures everything.
You know, that's a fact. Go ahead and wet that sucker up. This is marijuana etiquette, for we like to talk.
Yeah.
Thanks for helping. Make sure to keep your etiquette so you can get invited to every circle every time. Good job.
Loser.
That is terrifying. You're watching the Nug Life Radio Show, a higher level of education for the cannabis culture community. I am your host, Medicinal Mike, cannabis comedian, and all-around dad bod of the year. I'm here with Benji Cooper, runner-up for dad bod. But keep working at it. Next year's your year, Coop. When we do these puppet shows, man, that one I thought was, I'm not going to blame you on that one. That was my own horror movie. But man, I was so proud I made these puppets, and you can't see, but I'm wearing a giant full body green screen suit and that, so I'm working both puppets. And it was
Darth Malawana.
Dude, it was I don't know, watching it is just terrifying.
I thought the
You
one
break
that you
weed etiquette, he'll probably cut you in half with his lightsaber.
You literally had a great Muppet there, or Nuppet. I'm sorry, we'll get sued. That was a great Nuppet.
Yeah, it's a
Scott
Nuppet with an N.
Yeah, that was great. You had it so lifelike. It almost looked like Scott Migdall in the middle.
Yeah, no, yeah, that was the easiest one to actually move. Once you put a finger up the butt, the mouth just kept on going. Probably not the best.
Scott puppet is pretty lifelike.
Yeah, very, very lifelike. We've got more puppet shows and all kinds of good stuff, and it's going to be wonderful. But first, let's get some news in. We have a bumper for that with Benji Cooper's Nug Life News.
Now, from around the world, around the country, around the corner, and around and around and around we go. It's Nug Life Radio, Nug Nose with Benji.
So, over the past decade, nearly half of the U.S. has opted to legalize cannabis beyond medicinal use, but the rest are still tightly clinging to the failed model of prohibition. Though that grip gets looser every day, and recently it was Texas that lost a little bit of that hold. Last week, all 9 members of the Texas House Criminal Jurisprudence Committee voted to pass a bill that would decriminalize small amounts of cannabis. One of the bill's co-sponsors, Joseph Moody, says there are tens of thousands of arrests for personal use, possession, in Texas annually, and those cost our state hundreds of millions of dollars every single year, not to mention countless hours of law enforcement and prosecutor time. They also tag people, mostly young people, with criminal records that create lifelong obstacles to jobs, education, housing, and other opportunities. That's an awful investment and an awful outcome any way you slice it. Now, under House Bill 281, possession of 1 ounce or less of cannabis is a Class C misdemeanor and would not be subject to arrest. Instead, you'd be placed on deferred adjudication community supervision, or as Moody explains it, basically the person who's given a ticket goes to court, they're assessed a fine, then the court tells them, you've got 6 months to pay and you need to stay out of trouble during that time. If the person does their part, the court dismisses the charges, and on the request of the individual, deletes the entire record of it. According to High Times, advocates are hopeful and optimistic that HB 281 will continue to progress, though similar bills died in the Senate in 2021. So, this is not full legalization. This is the decriminalization step, which kind of,
It's
if
precursor,
history
right?
repeats, it'll kind of be a step towards legalization.
What the issue that I don't like with this, and they don't tell you, is it's a big money scheme. So what happens is you get in these systems, they overcharge you these giant tickets that you just can't afford right now. You know, the economy sucks. And you'll pay, let's say 4 or 5 payments, then you'll lapse, then they'll come and get you, put you into jail for 3 days, and then they'll start you over on these payments, and it'll be as if you never paid. And you'll be just so happy because you're not in jail for 3 days, and you'll start. I got caught in that loop for like the stupidest things, and then you'd be paying on these things for 5-6 years just trying to get rid of one ticket. And it's like, if I can't afford car insurance, I certainly can't afford this ticket.
Right. I'm sorry, Benji, go ahead.
Would that have been considered a Class C misdemeanor? I'm not sure what that's kind of like, it sounds like the lowest level of misdemeanor.
Yeah, I would just like them to leave it alone, you know, like any other plan. If you get pulled over and I got a pound of lettuce on me, you're not going to raise an issue with it. If you're not smoking, if you're being a responsible person, if I'm not getting high in my car while I'm driving the kids around, then, you know, that shouldn't be treated like that.
Yeah,
I agree.
The other thing is, I just want to say, because it's Texas, at least it is some sort of form of decriminalization, because it was almost life in prison. It was almost like
conveyor belt to the electric chair.
Well, you know, we've done a lot of stuff in Nevada, and Nevada was really sticky until years ago, right? And so this is kind of their precursor. So that's kind of a step in the right direction.
Now,
right?
that's their other way of saying that the minorities, other than minorities, are getting caught with it now. So they don't want to mess up anybody else's future.
Yeah, now we don't like it.
You know?
Oh, whoa!
we can't put these kids in jail. The other ones, yeah. These kids, no.
I'll tell you too. In Nevada, I threw the very first legal cannabis show, or that's what it was advertised. It was the Comedy Sesh. It was the very first. I had flyers going out. It was at a public restaurant, bar, whatever we did it at. It was a huge venue. And then while we were at the venue, we had learned that the difference between you vote something in and it's legal and then actually waiting for that paperwork trail to clear. So we hadn't waited. They voted. They said it's going to be awesome and everything's going to be legal. And we threw this giant show, and then we shot out of town as fast as we could, just waiting to be raided. But it was Jack Slammy, one of the Jack Slammy events.
Jack Slammy shows. There you go.
Yep, the very first legal cannabis show.
That almost sounds like the HempCon that we did out in Vegas.
Oh, HempCon, man. And I could say, because they don't do shows anymore, but the people that threw that show, specifically the one gentleman, and I know this is going to bite me in the ass later in life, but man, that's a chintzy dude. The place was being raided, like straight up. Cops are in there ripping the booths up, and he was still charging people at the entrance, like just so $20, come on in. It was 20.
Was that the same one I was at? The one with the Lifetime Achievement Award
in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
No. That was the Las Vegas Hemp Fest. That was a great event. That I had a lot of fun at. That one went real perfect. Everything was just out of all the events. That one actually went perfect. HempCon.
Mike had to save Paul Wall from being arrested.
Paul Wall, right? Let me see your grills. That dude, which is why he don't let me sing with the group. They come and get me, right? I'm running the show inside, and they say, and I'm not running it. I'm running the stage.
Right.
So I'm in a suit and tie, and I look all the part. and they say Paul Wall's being arrested outside. So I go running outside. I think it was like Cuban Ruben, chased me out there, brought me over to Paul Wall, and a bunch of other gentlemen, and the police officers have them in handcuffs, and they're saying that these guys are smoking in the parking lot, having no idea who they are. So I tell them that I am the owner of HempCon, and we need him freed. He's going to be on stage in like 1 minute.
Right.
And they let him out, and I'm like, all right, Paul, let's go. And then Paul's like, I can't leave my homies. You know, and I'm like, all right, God, we need these guys too. And they're like, why? And I was like, that's the band.
Oh, geez.
That's the band.
Oh, my God.
So we got them all in, and I'm just like, go, 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 go. But then I got a picture with him, so that was kind of cool too. I was like, you owe me a life debt now.
That show was one of the craziest shows I've ever been involved with. But there's some great stories that came out of it.
Little draws I got out of jail when the cops were coming to get him. Like, I am the perfect white face when I'm doing these shows. Like, I walk up, oh, hi, I'm his probation officer. We already got this one, you know.
And usually in your black and green suit with the fringe or whatever.
No, not that. This is just in the regular suit with the giant top hat and the 4-foot stilt shoes. Hello, little man. I don't know. I see the pictures of when I used to do that. And we went around wearing the lion costume and the skunk costume. And I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? Like, as a grown-ass adult, walking around with a top hat. I must have been like 7 feet tall. And women were attracted to this, too. And it would creep me out. Because I'm like, if this is what you're into, I don't want to be near you. But
it sounded like a good idea at the time.
Man, it was a pimped out suit. It had peacock feathers all over it, matching on the hat. I did America's Got Talent with it. I got through like one round. I did the Oompa Loompa, Doompity Doo, 10 or 20 bucks is cannabis for you. Like, I just did like a whole weeded out, yeah.
Just hitting the buzzer.
I made it. I was on the camera though. I got in the introduction for the San Diego. You see me walking up like I'm running the place like a circus leader.
That's all you see me is in the line.
Yeah. I'll be in, as long as you're in it. That's an IMDb credit.
You know, that was 90. I think it was the 90 seconds you get in the first round, and all it was my producers like laughing. You even saw the cameraman. His camera was moving, and I'm like, there's my demographic as the cameraman.
I went on right before the lady with the parrot. She had a parrot that talked like a lot or sang or did, you know, and I'm like sitting there in the waiting room with the lady with the parrot, and the parrot's talking.
But wait, hold on. Is that actually a trick? I think it would be a trick if it was a parrot that didn't talk.
No. This is like parrot holds conversations.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like tell me about your childhood.
Right, exactly.
Like,
yeah. It's the parrot asking. It's a very smart bird. What else is in the news? Stretch the shit out of that story.
Yes, we did.
I have some sad news. While states continue to vote to legalize cannabis, others are voting to keep it illegal. Last Tuesday, voters in Oklahoma gave their resounding disapproval to a legalization measure known as State Question 820. An overwhelming 63% voted no on the measure, indicating a difference of opinion compared to medical cannabis, which voters approved in 2018 by giving a 56% yes vote to State Question 877, which legalized medical cannabis in the state. And there are currently about 400,000 registered medical cannabis patients in Oklahoma. But despite the defeat on Tuesday, Yes on 820 campaign spokesperson Michelle Tilley remained positive, saying, "What I saw in this campaign is different people with different backgrounds and different political views coming together to do what was right for the state. We're going to keep fighting this fight and keep pushing forward. We didn't get State Question 820 across the finish line tonight, but the fact remains that marijuana legalization is not a question of if, it's a question of when." I'd say 63% is a significant no vote, Mike.
I go to
voters.
What do you just talk, Paul?
Sorry, your level. I'm sorry, bud.
Oh, you're playing with my buttons.
No, yeah, I'm playing.
All right. I'll tell you, after seeing what Vegas did with cannabis, and I'm super, everybody needs to be recreational, legal. Mm-hmm. Man, some places really shouldn't, because Vegas to me has been ruined by weed. It's so everything pot, and I mean, there's a time and a place, but you've almost taken any kind of family atmosphere out of there, where you can't go out anymore with people used to go to the kids to Vegas, and you did some of the more fun circus before the crack.
Right.
The whole family atmosphere is disappearing. Like, I noticed that last year because I took a trip out there with a friend to do some videos, and we did a tour of all the arcades just to see what was still there. And those are disappearing. Ones that we researched online and we're like, okay, we're going to go cover this arcade, what it's about. They just weren't there. There was several that were on our list and we couldn't go to them. So yeah, that's been a thing I've noticed over the past year or more, that Vegas is kind of going back on the whole family friendly atmosphere. There's still activities you can do, but
Well, going into pot is that'd be like if you saw and you don't see this. You don't see liquor exploited like they're exploiting cannabis, let's say. And I usually don't like to think, but both just being legal products out there, you don't not exploited. It's not on the taxi cab, on the building next to you, on the bus bench, on the like everywhere you look is so much weed that it's like, Jesus, dial it back just a little bit, and have your sections, have this is where you go to see all the weed stuff. It's everywhere.
Advertise alcohol in Vegas. I mean, all you need to do is like, look over there. There's a whalebone that I can fill with a margarita, a gallon of margarita.
Oh, I love that. You ever get taken? You'll find out there, public service announcement. If you're out there in Las Vegas, you're walking around downtown and you see these shops that are wide open, and they will even post a security guard out front. And they look like weed shops, and that security guy is not there because people are stealing, but they want you to think it's marijuana. So it's all pre-rolls, and they'll tell you, yeah, this is weed. Is this Girl Scout cookies? Yeah, it's Girl Scout cookies. It's like CBD weed. Like I was like, oh, I'm gonna be stupid, for lack of a better term, and spend like $40 on all these pre-roll joints just for the convenience of it. Because I'm like, wow, look, Vegas has it right here. All tasted like lawn clippings.
They're all like AC/DC.
Yeah, you throw them right back at the freaking person. You're like, here, just bounce it off, keep the money. But a big scam out there. So watch. If you're getting your cannabis, you got to go to like Planet 13 or one of these giant, experience buildings, which I support. I love that. I just don't want to see it where I shouldn't have to, deal with it. Sometimes I don't want to be high. Sometimes I want to know who has a 99-cent shrimp cocktail.
Which tastes better if you're high.
Yeah. Oh God, it does. Yeah. I know. I'm all anti-pot today. I love pot. I love legalization. I would hate to see Oklahoma turn, and I want them to have the money from it, so they should be recreational legal. But just the marketing has to be restricted. If I don't want to, and I explain with cannabis, I explain it to my children at a very young age and what I'm doing with it and what all this is about. But some people don't want to do that. You don't want to have to drive through with your 8-year-old who's just learning to read, and it's come get high at Relief, and what's high, Daddy? How can I get high?
And I didn't read the measure, so people voting no on it, maybe that wasn't the right bill to pass in that state.
True. Prop 64, which nobody read before they voted for it, completely ruined cannabis in California. And when you were hearing that it wasn't passing, you would have been all butthurt. But now that it's passed,
Right.
You're more butthurt because you're paying like 40% tax or some insane number like that.
Well, and it's like the lady said, that she's like, it's not a question of if we legalize cannabis, it's a matter of when.
Mm.
So, I mean, it'll happen at some point. It's just maybe perhaps that the timing wasn't right, or that wasn't the right bill or a measure for that state.
Hence, you're from Oklahoma for the sake of this story. What do you think about what's going on out there in that beautiful waving weed sure smells sweet state?
It's just like everybody else. The people that are out there with the medical.
You can hear a smile, hence.
Oh, I do smile. It just doesn't look like it. Loaded right now. But it seemed like they're trying to keep it all to themselves. They're selfish, man. They don't want to share. When they get tired of it, then they're going to give it to the masses.
He didn't listen to any of this story or any of that. He just glanced over the weed is for Jesus. It's Jesus.
I've got something to say.
Having 400,000 registered patients in the medical cannabis system, that's pretty impressive. I don't know how many are in other states, but I think Oklahoma is one of those states where you have to have qualifying conditions. I'm not 100% positive on that. I'd need to check.
But
There's a lot of people in their system.
What kind of qualifying conditions? Is it like California where it was literally, I get headaches or I've got anxiety, or what?
Well, some states are like that, but there's other states where they actually have a list, and if you don't have one of those conditions, you can't be part of the medical cannabis program. Right. I don't know for certain if Oklahoma is like that, but a lot of states that have passed medicinal cannabis laws have implemented qualifying condition lists.
Now, the state Wisconsin that I'm from, That's where they.
For the sake of this story.
You have to have a real medical doctor, not a cannabis doctor, send you to a cannabis doctor. So it's like a big chain. Once again, it's the loop. That's what.
And they still can't prescribe it. They have to recommend it because recommendations fall under the First Amendment, freedom of speech, and prescriptions fall into federal territory. That's why you still can't make those as a doctor.
In California, it's like a smog check. If you don't pass, you don't pay. So they want you, like, you go in there and they're like, you look sick, you know, and that's what I want in a doctor. I want to hear that he's motivated to get me healed. And if the only thing he has to do, I went into my weed doctor and I was, you know, sitting in with the lady. She's taking my blood pressure. God knows why. And I says, well, what's the difference between the top and the bottom number? And she's like, I have no idea. I'm like, oh, we're just doing this, huh? So, and then the guy nowadays, you know, when you went there, you used to get that personal touch. And now the marijuana doctors, they could care less. They don't even show up. It's a screen, and the doctor shows up on the screen, and he's like, do you look sick? And, you know, he's waving his head, and and the whole thing is just a big. Were you trying to see how much of my set I was going to work into this right now?
I've been counting it word by word. Right now.
I do a whole set on stage with this material, but it's all based on true.
But finally,
my first recommendation from Dr. Kelly, our former co-host.
Wow, really? Yeah, rest in peace, Dr. Kelly.
Well, and finally, things are okay in Oklahoma.
Where the waving wheat can sure smell sweet.
Something like
Right
that.
behind the blade, we know we belong to the land. No, you guys don't watch Oklahoma?
No, I just thought, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, I just don't want to get third-party content, remember? They'll get you with your voice.
They cannot get me with my voice.
You're like
They did that with the Godfather show. So when we had the Godfather on, you know, we get on our shows, we're starting to hit some nice numbers, and then all of a sudden this one putty show, which is like one of our coolest guests ever, but we used his, and Paul told me at the beginning, don't do that. And I was like, nah, play the WWE theme song when we bring him in, and then I got copyright hit. You know, as if WWE is worried I'm going to steal some of their profit margin.
Well, they thought being in Facebook jail wasn't enough for you, Mike.
That, you know, and that was the San Diego Farmers Cup. It just said accepting applicants. Because, again, on 420 out there in San Diego, they're going to be judging and all that good stuff, all the cannabis strains. But there's no weed on it. There's nothing weed. It was just a green flyer that said accepting applicants, San Diego Cannabis Farmers Market.
You're just drafting people right in, though.
Yeah, I got screwed. And then whole day, they take you off a messenger, man. That's too much power. Like, I lost all contact. Like,
I'd sent you a message. You were just nothing but a grayed out avatar.
Did it show you that I was looking at the message?
No.
Okay, that's better then. Because I had people like reaching out that are like, hey, I need help. You know, bad things are happening. And I'm like, I think I'm just looking at their messages, but it's not showing me responding. Hey, is you okay, bud? I'm sorry, I didn't pay that $40 back.
Facebook rules are weird. I got put into Facebook jail one time for sharing a news story about ease.
Nudes. Did you say nudes?
A nude story.
A
news story that I wrote about ease, the delivery app.
Oh, yeah.
And that's complete censorship, but I guess because it's a private company. What I don't get is Facebook and Instagram are owned by the same people, and you can post whatever you want on Instagram. I've had no issues.
Right.
I see
nipples,
seen buttholes.
I kind of look at it as good cop versus bad cop.
Remember the 420 butthole?
They're trying to hide under, Section 53 protections, which is for publishers, but they're a social media platform, so it falls under a different category, but they're still hiding behind it, and it's working.
I think once you're providing communication at some point, you should have to be responsible as if you were, T-Mobile or anybody like that. Because for some people, I don't know if it's an older generation thing, because a lot of us old heads are still using Messenger. But I'm not. Yeah, Snapchat is just horrible. Like I would never let my kids on Snapchat. It's always some foreign chick who's almost showing you her boob, and then she covers it right back up. I'm like, and then you get some trailer chick that's like, here, look at the inside of my hoo-ha. And then that becomes an issue. Either way, I don't want my kids seeing them. I'll look.
Something else.
I'll look.
Snapchat.
Yeah. So, all right, Oklahoma, you guys suck.
They're getting closer, though.
They're getting closer. But you remember that game in California when it was, you're getting closer. The only thing that sucks, though, for somebody who does what we do, and you're like an activist or whatever, is when they do legalize it, it's nothing left. You're just done. Like you're deflated as a soldier with no war. And then
exhausting.
Yeah, now you have people that are like try to pick apart the laws and stuff and what works for them or does, and I'm just don't have the energy for that. I'm like, we got you out of jail, you know. That's good. I don't care if they're not letting you vote now. That's your problem.
Yeah.
You're out.
Why
You're
can't
out.
I own a cannabis store myself?
Yeah, because you're black, sir.
You have no money.
That's a real thing. There's a minority issue going on, especially in Las Vegas, that less than 2% of the cannabis licenses are owned by black individuals or Hispanic, and they make it so that anybody who comes out of a minority neighborhood just cannot afford to. They're like, you have to have $2 million in the bank, you have to have this and that, and what they did was they whited out all the ownership. Vegas is the first place that's actually recently implemented, and they took 10% or 20% of their applicants and the properties, and they will only give them to minority groups to try to balance that out.
It's affirmative action within.
Thought I was going in with some side out the mouth racism, huh? I covered a whole bunch of facts there. That's real stuff. If you are in a minority group, probably the hardest thing you'll ever do is get yourself a cannabis business. It's the way the world's set up right now.
It's the last frontier for racism in America.
Yeah. Well,
But,
stopping money from being made.
Right.
After everybody get it, and the markets get saturated. Oh, here, you could have one. Put it.
Yeah. When it's called crappy and next to 4 liquor stores and
You got the liquor store,
burnt down
cannabis
church.
shop, and then the church.
Yeah. Hence his hash house.
I like the sound of
H.
that. Hence his hash.
we just had
That's Triple H.
my guys went down to the meeting in Vegas that they just did to pass out the dispense. Luckily, all my friends out there, they're all black. So they're like, woo, 20%. And they only have to pay like $500. You know, it's real low. They've brought the fees down. So shout out to Vegas for doing something good for somebody other than themselves.
Gavin Newsom, if you're listening, hook us up.
He's the California governor, right?
Right.
Yeah.
People hate that guy.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
talk about
you-
reparations. Give us some weed license. And reparations.
There was a news story in
I'm Jewish. I'm owed something. Somebody owes me something too, I'm sure.
There was a news story a couple of weeks ago in San Francisco about San Francisco giving reparations. Go ahead and lose that. We just got
Broke. We
rid of
just ripped the whole microphone apart right
and,
here.
and they saw it right there. Live.
Sorry about that, folks.
No, it's okay. They saw it, but there was a couple of weeks ago where there was a story where they were thinking about giving reparations to black citizens in San Francisco of like $2 million each. And I was like, what?
We
But you
homies
gotta prove that you're this person. You gotta prove that. I mean, there's so much you gotta prove.
for $2 million. I'll prove I'm that person.
Right? Where's it?
Oh, that's me. That is me 100%. This tattoo looking, the dark tattoo, that's my real color, and everything else is what
Yeah, but
Got reverse tattoo.
reverse tattooed.
Yeah,
$2
photo
million.
negative.
What do you have to? Even give away half.
they're gonna take half of that, and then they're gonna tax you on it for your taxes again.
If they willing to give out $400, it's better than nothing. Like just, but it's $2 million. You're talking $2 million. I'll track you. I'll track for a small percentage. I will trace you right back to Rosa Parks. If you want to be her great nephew, I got a guy. It's right there. Lindsay, do that computer thing. We need an ancestry.com. You make Paul related to Rosa Parks. We're all getting paid up in here.
That's right.
You were related to Shaka Zulu right here.
That's good.
Is that why I got to always sit at the back of the studio?
Yes, that's.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure we're all right.
You know, I was trying to skate that line where it wasn't too much, and Paul was like, I'm going to jump right over that motherfucker. It's too many white people here for those jokes.
I'm sorry.
Hence, you're in the shot, right? Okay, who's
We
there?
better get him back on. Wait, hold on.
Hence is in the shot. He's in the shot.
Wait, not me. That's a too white of a
No.
person. Hold on. That ain't good enough.
Quick! All panicking. Quick, get the black guy on.
You're gonna go outside. They're gonna be picketing.
Well, actually, Benji, what are you? You're uber white, I would imagine. You're like what? Jewish? Irish, Jewish. I meant German, Irish.
Albanian, Italian.
Are you? Oh, that's not white at all.
Yeah.
Yes, no.
That's not white at all.
It's
Yeah.
translucent.
I'm an Italian Jew. That's not white. What are you, Paul?
I'm 47% Scottish. That's
Yeah,
why.
You're the oppressor.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're the oppressor.
And then I got a whole bunch of weird butt in me. No, it's all European stuff, and it's all just like percentages.
Okay.
Just so you knew.
Okay, thank you.
You needed to know.
Hey, you say the hell of why right there. That's good because Jews and Albanians, we don't play. There's nowhere this conversation is going to go. It's going to end in a good spot. Anything else in the news? For the love of God, please have at least one more story for me.
And I've actually got a little bit of good news. So it's not like you needed another reason to celebrate 420 or even look forward to it, which is coming up in just over a month. But apparently in touch with their audience or just happening to fall on the right day, but still making one of the best and most apropos plays ever in the timing of a popular television show's next season kickoff. Paramount Plus will be starting season 2 of Mike Judge's Beavis and Butthead show on April 20th, 2023. The streaming service brought the show into 2022 last year with the Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe movie and the first new season of the show since it last aired on MTV in 2011. And as the new season starts on everyone's favorite cannabis holiday, viewers will get not one, but 2 full episodes that they can watch during the day's festivities as many times as they like. And new episodes will arrive on a weekly basis until the end of the season. Now, unfortunately, for some, the 420 release is only for the US, Canada, and Australia. The UK will have to wait until 421 to get it.
Screw you, okay.
Will get it when they get it. So I know what I'll definitely be watching on 420, the first season.
I love that show because it's the same.
Really good.
It's the same writing. Like it's the exact same story. They didn't change a beat. And that is like you can watch the old ones, you can watch the new ones, and you really can't tell if you haven't watched before if you're watching old or new.
Some of my favorite moments have come from the first season of the newer show.
What's that?
Of Beavis and Butthead.
What's your spoiler? Yeah, your spoiler favorite.
Oh, from last season. Let's see. All of them. First episode that they released was the escape room episode.
Oh, I did see that too. Yeah, I won't spoil too much of it for you, but
oh my god.
Yeah, that's hysterical. The dumpster fire, that was awesome. Love them when they're doing mushrooms in the desert for the movie.
One Beavis.
I like when they showed them old, like how they're supposed to look right now.
Yes.
So
old Beavis and old Butthead.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Did you see the movie?
Yes, I did, but I don't think I paid much attention to it. I'm at the old age where when I go to a theater, it is like, unless it's in 4D and they are flipping you around, I go right to sleep. And it's quality sleep. No regrets in missing the movie. I'll snore super loud and no F's given. I'm the wrong person to bring to a movie.
Scene where Beavis and Butthead go to college and learn about their privilege is one of my favorites ever.
Yeah, I see. I slept through the whole freaking thing. Paid to watch it. Ant-Man, that new Ant-Man movie, got up right to where they screwed up the MODOK character, and I was like, this looks like crap, and went right to sleep. Right to sleep. I had and will still bitch that I didn't understand what happened in the movie, but that was another horrible thing to sleep through.
Ant-Man had a really good opening weekend, and then it had I think a record drop for second weekend.
Because of the MODOK. That MODOK character, they did it so good on Hulu that when you actually go to see it, and all they did was just make him big face, like magnified his face, and it's like all this CGI and everything you have, you really phoned it in on that one. And people that are Marvel fans are diehard. I've been watching Marvel since I'm a child. I've read every comic ever printed. I'm a diehard, and when I saw that, I was just completely turned off on the whole thing. I want to feel like people who are messing with what my fantasies were as a child, and bringing them to life, at least are gonna put in some effort.
Maybe they got too much quantity over quality going on.
Yeah. Too many people. It's like now they're trying to take everybody. It's like if you get into Hollywood and you can get an A-list role, you pretty much know you're gonna be in Marvel at some point.
They're going to probably put out like a Four-Bush Man movie or something, just going for obscure characters.
Captain Hindsight. If you did all this different, this wouldn't have happened. Thank you, Captain Hindsight.
Look, it's Measuring Man.
This is an 8. That actually guy might be useful. Dude's trying to sell me a quarter pound. A quarter pound. We want to thank everybody again for listening. That's everything in the news there, Benji, I would hope.
That is the Nug Life News for this week.
We
if you want
pulled
more
it.
news from me, hit me up at Nug Life News, Canna Geek News on Instagram, or you can head over to my website, cannageek.net.
Anything you hear about cannabis is pretty much written by Benji. He's like who wrote the Bible? King James? Oh, he wrote the good one. So like he's like the King James of cannabis. We want to thank Erica Rivera for showing up today for us, even though the time zones are different and sometimes clocks are hard to read. We do appreciate you showing up, and we want her to win this contest, so make sure you go to Erica_Rivera, where she is going to be the cover model for Inc. magazine, which she should need to do a contest. She's like gorgeous and she should just be there. They should just put her on it. But make sure you vote. Vote bigger than Paul, and she'll do your voicemail messages. And if she does your voicemail, I'm going to talk her into doing it topless, like from her own house. You're never going to see her.
Oh,
but
man.
you'll know that her voice was topless when she recorded that.
You just up the stakes on
That's
me.
something. There's something hot about that. Thank you at Nug Life News, Benji Garcia. Did I just fucking call you Benji Garcia Reyes? God damn. Cut that one for me and put that one in the thing. Benji Cooper, it's the end of the show. I'm like trying to squirrel out of this chair. Benji Cooper at Canna Geek, Nug Life News, Paul Brumbaugh, Edge Studios Online, Hence Singleton, stand-up comedian. You could see him everywhere, except on the cannabis dispensary, unfortunately. We want to thank you guys again for listening. I'm your host, Medicinal Mike. Follow us on Instagram, WrestleSesh422, KushStock415, and 420 San Diego Cannabis Farmers Market. Enjoy your 420 weekend responsibly. Thanks for listening. We are out.